Rachel, Yaakov's beloved wife, he was willing to work 7 years for her. This is the deal that he made with her father, Lavan. It sounds like a beautiful story, and then they lived happily ever after. It's not what happened. What happened was when the 7 years were over, which seemed like nothing to Yaakov, because to him working 7 years for Rachel would be like buying an apartment in the most expensive, exclusive area for $20,000. Now, $20,000 is money, but not for a large apartment in a beautiful area. Lavan told Leah that he wants her to marry Yaakov instead of Rachel. Why? Not just because he wanted to see if Yaakov would be willing to work an additional 7 years, but because he hated Yaakov, because Yaakov was everything he wasn't, and he wanted to rob him of any possibility of a true marriage, a marriage that could succeed. He wanted him to marry the wrong woman. So there was a plan. Leah was to appear in the wedding hall, heavily veiled as women did at that time. Yaakov would think that she's Rachel, because Rachel is the woman who's supposed to be there. Why not assume that the bride is the bride, if you know what I mean? Yaakov will marry Leah, and everybody will live happily ever after, sort of. So Rachel had to know the plan. She had to know where she wasn't to be on the night that would have been the greatest night of her life, the night she was waiting for 7 years. Yaakov anticipated that Lavan might do something like this because he knew Lavan. He had worked for him for 7 years. Lavan had changed his salary countless times. So he told Rachel, let's make signs so I'll know it's you. We don't know what the signs are. There are various opinions in the Midrashim and in the Zohar about what they were. But they certainly were signs that would tell him, you're the one. You're the one who's going the path that I want to walk. Rachel was in a quandary, but she decided she's going to take the signs, she's going to make it happen. At the very last moment, I want you to picture this, the music, the food, she gave Leah the signs. So that when Yaakov married Leah, he had every reason to think it was Rachel. Why'd she do it? The Me'or V'Shemesh, quoting the mystic sources, says, if you were to ask her, she wouldn't be able to give you a good answer. Why? Rationally, she shouldn't give the signs. And if she didn't want to give signs, she shouldn't have made the signs. Super rationally, not irrationally. Note, super rationally. In the place that's within us all, that's beyond our own human logic, she realized that no good could possibly come from allowing Leah to suffer this kind of public humiliation, a humiliation that nobody recovers from. She gave her the signs. As things work out, the tomb that is excluded from the traditional burial place of the matriarchs and patriarchs, Hebron, is Rachel's tomb. Why was she buried there? It was prophetic. She died in childbirth on the way to Hebron. God told Yaakov to bury her there, right where she was, so that later generations would pass that place on their way out to exile and pray there. Why there? Because her deed could evoke super-rational mercy from above. We ask for things that we don't deserve. We ask for things we don't deserve all the time. When the Jews were exiled, they would say, save us, let us keep our land. And the answer was, you don't deserve it. And you know what Rachel could stand before God and say? So what? Have compassion anyway. And the answer that she was given by God was, your children will return to their borders. And this is the promise that was kept in 1948 and will be kept in its ultimate full form in the foreseeable future, God willing. Compassion is worth that much.